Welcome back, dear students of class 8. Today, we are going to start with the part 3 of our chapter 5 Introduction to Java and BlueJ. And this is a very important part, students, as in this part, we will study features of object oriented programming. Now, there are four very important features of object oriented programming, and without these features, your programming language will not be called as an object oriented programming language. So these features are very essential for us to learn if you want to learn an object oriented programming language, that is Java. Okay, so the first feature is abstraction. The first feature is abstraction. Okay, so let's talk about abstraction. Okay, abstraction is very important feature of object oriented programming. Okay, it is used to manage the complexity of the system. What is meaning of this word complexity? Complexity simply means how the difficulty. Complexity means difficulty. Okay, so it is used to manage the difficulty of the system. The more difficult is the system is to use, the users will find it very annoying to use a difficult system. Okay, if you develop a software which is very difficult for the users to use, they might not use it. So the users always want to use which kind of software or application? They always want to use user-friendly applications. What are user-friendly applications? User-friendly applications are those applications that are very easy to use. Okay, like WhatsApp. WhatsApp is very easy to use, and that's why most of the people use it. Okay, so you as a programmer, as a software developer, okay, when you learn Java, you will also become a developer. So you as a software developer or as a programmer should always design programs that are very easy for the users to use. Okay, and that is where this abstraction comes into play. Okay, so abstraction helps us to manage the difficulty or complexity of the system. That is, it provides only essential features of the system to the user and hides all the complex processes. Okay, so basically abstraction is what helps us to make our program user friendly or make our application or software user friendly. Without using abstraction, you cannot make your a program or application user friendly. Okay, so I hope you understood why we want to make our program or application user friendly, so that more users use it. Okay, and if more users will use it, you will generate more revenue. Okay, so and software will be more popular. Okay, so how does this abstraction make our software or application user friendly? Because it only provides the essential features of the system to the user and hides all the complex process. For example, if I talk about an ATM machine, okay, if we talk about this ATM machine, okay, while using this ATM machine, okay, I bet you must have used an ATM machine, okay, or at least you have seen your parents use the ATM machine. So what basically happens is that when you go to an ATM machine, it is a very complex machine. Okay, an ATM machine is a very complex machine. Inside that machine are very complex parts. Okay, but what you have to do is that when you go to an ATM machine, you just need to insert your debit or credit card in the provided slot. So what do? You insert your card, debit card or credit card inside this particular ATM slot, yes or no? and then you follow the instructions that appear on the screen. The instructions might be written in English or Hindi depending upon which language you choose. Yes. So why they are giving so many languages to choose? So that it becomes very user friendly. Okay. Using an ATM becomes very easy to use. Okay. So instructions, you follow the instructions that appear on the screen, and after providing the correct pin number and entering the desired amount, the money can be collected from the machine. Okay, students. Now it is very easy for a normal user to use the ATM machine. Why? Because it is hiding all the complexity of the system of this machine behind it. Okay, it is not showing the users the complex processes, it is only showing the users very simple processes. Now in the above given example, only a user has to interact with the interface using the provided tools. Okay, the user never comes to know about the processes that happen in the background. Okay, because when you go and click up any button on the ATM machine, something is happening behind the ATM machine. Okay, it is a bunch of there are many computers which are connected to each other. Okay, and all the different computers in different banks are also connected to this ATM machine, but you don't come to know about it. Okay, and there are very complex functions that are happening behind when you press different buttons on this ATM machine. Okay, and the functions that interact with each other, you don't come to know about them. What is happening behind this? All these are technical processes and you never come to know about it. You know why? Because abstraction hides all the complexity of this particular system behind the machine. Okay, what happens behind the machine never comes to the user. It is a technical aspect, and the technicians of the ATM, they need to know it. We as a user, we don't need to know this complex processes. Okay, but as a developer, obviously when you are going to develop a software for an ATM machine, you need to know about these processes. Okay, but for a normal user, they don't need to know about these processes, and we are designing our software for the normal users only. Okay, so students, this is what abstraction is. Okay, abstraction is used to manage the complexity of the system. Okay, as it provides only the essential features of the system to the users and hides all the complex processes. Okay, so abstraction is something which hides the complexity of the system. Okay, and only provides the essential features to the particular user, and this is what makes your software user friendly. Okay, so let's move on to the next important feature of object oriented programming, that is encapsulation. Encapsulation. Okay, encapsulation means what? Capsulating something. Have you seen a capsule? Yes, the capsule contains the main medicine, yes or no? And the main medicine is encapsulated or fitted inside the cover of the capsule. Okay, from there this word encapsulation has been taken. I hope you have seen the capsule, okay, that we eat as medicines. Okay, so encapsulation, students, is a technique of binding. Okay, now we are not going to bind medicines over here in object oriented programming, but we are going to bind what? Data and functions together. Okay, what are we going to bind? Data and functions together. Now you have already studied about the classes. Okay, so you know what is the data that we are talking about, and what are the functions. Functions are the behavior and data is the attributes and the values. Okay, so Encapsulation is a technique of binding both data and functions together to keep them safe from the unauthorized access and misuse. Okay, so you keep your data and your functions together inside a capsule. Okay, together inside a capsule to keep it safe from the unauthorized access and use. Unauthorized means what? Someone who is not authorized is called as unauthorized. Okay, and authorization means what? If suppose I give you my mobile phone, okay, and I give you my mobile phone on my own, I open my, I insert my pin and I tell you my pin. Okay, I tell you that this is my pin of my mobile number, oh sorry, of my mobile phone, and I allow you to use my mobile phone. That means I am authorizing you to use my mobile phone. But if some third person comes and he starts to, suppose, use my mobile phone, he doesn't know the pin, but still he tries to open my phone or use my phone. So that person, that third person, is not authorized. So what encapsulation ensures is that encapsulation ensures that the users cannot that a user cannot access the data without proper authorization. That means only the authorized users can use the data. That means it ensures the security of our software or our application. Who ensures the security? The encapsulation. And you would want your software or application to be very secure from the unauthorized users. So what is encapsulation? Encapsulation is a technique of binding both data and functions together to keep them safe from the unauthorized access and misuse. Okay, encapsulation ensures that the user cannot access data without proper authorization. So any unauthorized user cannot use your cannot get access to your data. Okay, now it also ensures that a user can have access only to those functions for which he is authorized. Okay, while other functions remains unaffected. Okay, so encapsulation also ensures what? That suppose if I authorized you only to suppose use my gallery in my mobile phone, okay, and I secure my other applications in my mobile phone with the help of some other security application. Okay, so if I authorized you to only use the gallery part of my mobile phone, and if I secure everything else, that means you are not authorized to use my other applications. Okay, so in the same manner, encapsulation also ensures that the users can have access to only those functions for which they have authorized, while other functions remain unaffected. Okay, now let us understand the concept of encapsulation with help of the same example of an ATM machine. Okay, we talked about the ATM machine earlier in the data abstraction. Now let's talk about the same example. Okay, now in this scenario, or in the scenario of ATM machine, the data can be accessed by using the given functions. Now see, there are these functions given over here. Okay, and these are the data. Okay, now a person who has a bank account and who has a debit card will have a account number. Account number is the attribute or the data of the object bank account, yes or no? Then he will also have a pin, the ATM pin, 4-digit ATM pin, that is also data, and he will have some balance in his account. Okay, now I cannot know, suppose you are using your ATM, so I cannot know what is your account number. I cannot know what is your PIN. I should not know what is your account balance, yes or no? If suppose you and I both are standing in a ATM queue, okay, and you go into the ATM first and then I am standing behind you. So you will always try to protect your ATM pin from me. Yes or no? We try to do that now. We cannot let our ATM others know our ATM pin for the security reasons, obviously, because if somebody the bank people always say that you should not disclose your ATM pin to others. Why? Because then others might use these functions like checking your balance account. They might, if they know your ATM pin, okay, then they might duplicate them. There are technologies that help you help others like hackers to duplicate your this ATM card, okay, and counterfeit your this ATM card, and they might check your balance, and they might use these functions like withdrawing a certain amount from your bank account, and then they can also change your pin, and they can do all these things. But if you keep these things safe, they cannot do it. And who ensures us? The encapsulation. Okay, now, so if you have a ATM card, you have these data with you, and these are the functions that you can perform, like checking the account balance, withdrawing a certain amount, changing the ATM pin, etc. However, the most important point to note is that while using an ATM, you can only access the data that belongs to you. You cannot check the account balance of other customers. That means you are authorized to only check the account balance of your account. You can only withdraw from your account. You can only change the pin of your card. You cannot do these things. You cannot perform these functions on other users' card. Why? Because encapsulation ensures that the users can have access only to the functions for which he or she is authorized. I hope encapsulation is clear. I hope it is easy for you to understand. Okay, now quickly let's revise what is encapsulation. Encapsulation is the technique of binding both data and functions together to keep them safe from an unauthorized access and misuse. Yes or no? So these two things, data and functions, they are wrapped or they are bound into a capsule together so that they are safe from any unauthorized access. Okay, and encapsulation also ensures that other users cannot access the data without proper authorization. So if I give my ATM card to you and if I tell you the PIN, that means I am authorizing you to use my ATM card also. Yes or no? Now you can use the data that I have given to you, the PIN number. I have given you the data. Okay, I have given you my debit card. Okay, my ATM card. Okay, and now you can use these data. Yes, and now that you know this data, you can perform these functions. Okay, because you were authorized. But if you are not authorized, you cannot perform these functions. And who ensures all these things? Encapsulation. I hope encapsulation is clear. Moving on to the next part or the next important feature of object-oriented programming, which is inheritance. Inheritance. Okay, inheritance is the feature using which an object in one class acquires the properties and behaviors of objects of another class, which means you can create a new class that are built upon the existing class and can reuse the methods, fields of the parent class. Now let me explain you it in a very simple language. Let me complete this paragraph first. This property brings the concept of object-oriented programming a step closer to our lives, as it reflects real-life concept of heredity in programming. Now, First, let's talk about heredity. What is this word heredity? Okay, heredity is defined as the transfer of characteristics from parents to children. I hope you have studied biology, and in biology you have studied that the children acquire characteristics from their parents. Yes or no? Your hair color, your eye color, your skin color, your height, and different attributes, okay, of your body come from your parents, either from your mother or from your father. It can come from your mother's side or it can come from your father's side. Yes or no? All the features that you possess, okay, all the different features that you possess come either from your mother's side or father's side, or it can be a mix of their features. Okay, so you have studied the concept of heredity in biology, which is a real life example. Yes or no? In the same manner, in object oriented programming, now we talk about real life scenarios only. So inheritance is a feature using which an object, now you know what an object is. Those who don't know, you can refer to my previous lecture, part 2. Okay, so first watch part 2 and then come to this part. So inheritance is a feature using which an object in one class acquires the properties and behaviors of objects of another class. Okay, so if you have already created one class, okay, you can give some characteristics of this created class to another class. Okay, which means you can create a new class. Okay, that means you can create a new class that is built upon the existing class and can reuse the methods and fields of the parents class. That means this new class will use all the attributes, some of the attributes, or it can also use all the attributes or all the functions or methods of the previous class or its parent class. Okay, so this is called as inheritance. A very easy and real life examples. This simply means, now I'll make it very simple. Inheritance simply means like we acquire the characteristics that we have from our parents. In the same manner, if you create a new class, if you want that it should acquire its attributes and methods or functions from its some other class, then you can do so in object oriented programming with the help of the concept called as inheritance. Now let us quickly see an example of to understand the concept of inheritance. Okay, now a class bird. Okay, now a class bird, I hope you know what is a class. Okay, class is a group of similar objects. Okay, now a class bird can be broadly classified as flying birds and non-flying birds. So the birds can be classified as flying birds and non-flying birds. Okay, now what happens is that for these flying birds will have some examples like vulture, okay, like eagle, or you can also include parrot, okay, and many other flying birds. Okay, now this vulture is going to have some attributes like the span of the wings, the weight of the vulture, okay, and different attributes, the color of the vulture, the color of the eye of the vulture, and different attributes. It is going to have different attributes. In the same manner, this eagle, it will also have some attributes because this eagle belongs to flying birds, which is a part of the class birds only. Okay, so this eagle will also have some attributes, the wingspan, how much big its wing is, okay, then what it eats, then the color of the eye, and the shape of the bird, and different things, the color of the wings. All these are the attributes of the object eagle. So this vulture is an object, this eagle is also an object which belongs to the flying birds class. Okay, now Then in non-flying birds we have penguin, ostrich, and then kiwi, and there are different birds which are non-flying. Okay, so these penguin will also have certain attributes. In the same manner, ostrich will also have some attributes: color, body color, then speed, and different things. Okay, speed with which it can run. Then penguin will also have certain attributes. Okay, now see the principle behind this sort of classification, that birds are being classified into flying birds and non-flying birds, is that each derived class shares common characteristics with the class from which it is derived. That means at the end of the day, all these four examples that we have taken over here, they have been derived from the main parent class, that is birds class. These different objects, okay, their attributes, okay, that all these four are birds, has been derived from the parent class, and they share some certain common attributes that they are birds. Okay, so this class over here is called as the parent class. Okay, so this is how heredity is the concept of heredity is reflected through the inheritance. Okay, so basically using inheritance, an object in one class acquires the properties and behaviors of objects of another class, which means you can create new class that are built upon the existing class, and you can reuse the methods and fields of the parent class. Okay, so this reusability is acquired by the inheritance. There is a concept of class reusability, which you will study again in the higher classes. How to use a class again and again, and that is achieved with the help of inheritance, so that you can save your time. Okay, you don't have to create the same type of classes again and again. So this is achieved with the help of inheritance. I hope you have understood inheritance. Now let's move on to the last and important feature of object oriented programming, that is polymorphism. Okay, so let's talk about polymorphism. Okay, the word polymorphism means what? Many forms. It is made up of two words, poly and morph. Okay, so poly means many and morph means forms. Okay, so the word polymorphism means many forms. Okay, polymorphism helps a programmer to use the same function name for more than one purpose. Okay, same function name you can use for multiple purposes. Okay, now let us understand the concept of polymorphism by taking the example of a mobile phone. So you all have seen a mobile phone. I hope you have seen. I hope you have used a mobile phone. Okay, now your mobile phone has polymorphic ability. What is the meaning of polymorphic ability? Polymorphic ability means it has the ability to, use one function for many purposes. Okay, it has many forms. Okay, it can be used in many ways. Okay, your mobile phone has polymorphic ability, that is one name but many functions. Yes, do you use your mobile phone only for doing one thing? No, you use it for doing many functions. Okay, let us understand with the help of this figure. This is the mobile phone. Okay, but you can use its camera. Okay, you can use its camera for taking pictures. Okay, for taking videos and doing different things. Yes or no? So this mobile phone can be used for taking pictures and recording videos. Okay, you can also use the alarm from your mobile phone. You can also use the MP3. You can play the MP3 in your mobile phone. You can play videos in your mobile phone. You can do navigation. Navigation means what? Moving from one place. You have used Google Maps, right? So you can use Google Maps for navigation, and you can also use the internet in your mobile phone. You can also use FM radio, and there are many. You can use your mobile phone to play many games. Yes, and you can use your mobile phone to check your email, to use your email services. Yes or no? So there are many functions that this single mobile can do. Yes or no? Similarly, in object oriented programming, polymorphism is a feature that allows one function to behave differently for different objects. That means the same function, okay, that is the same function can be used for the different objects, and it will show different behavior as it interacts with different objects. So this particular feature of object oriented programming is called as polymorphism. Polymorphism means something which is having many forms. Okay, and polymorphism, again, let's quickly revise it, helps the programmer to use the same function, okay, same function name for more than one purpose. Okay, so with this we finish our 4 important features of object oriented programming, which are abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. Okay, let us quickly revise what are these 4 features. First, talking about abstraction. Abstraction is used to manage the complexity of the system. Complexity means difficulty of the system. And abstraction provides only the essential features of the system to the user and hides the complex processes. And by doing so, by hiding the complex processes from the user, abstraction helps us in achieving what? In achieving user-friendly applications. That means it helps us to create user-friendly applications. Okay? Then moving on to encapsulation. Encapsulation means what? Binding data and functions together to keep them safe from the unauthorized access. So you bind, okay, bind means keep them, okay, keep them tightly assigned to a place where they are safe from the unauthorized access, okay, and misuse. Okay, so encapsulation helps to achieve what? Security. Then talking about inheritance. With the help of inheritance, we can use the properties and behavior of objects of one object, okay, or class to other, okay, which means you can create a new class that are built upon the existing class and use the methods and fields of the parent class. Okay, then talking about the last particular feature of object oriented programming, which is called as polymorphism. Now polymorphism helps a programmer to use the same function name for more than one purpose. Okay, so this is it about the 4 important features of object oriented programming. Now in the next part, first students, I will teach you how to install BlueJ software in your computer, or BlueJ is the environment in which we are going to work. Okay, how to install the BlueJ environment. I'm sorry that I said software. It is an environment in which we are going to do our Java programming. Now there are different types of environments available for Java programming, but we as students, okay, we are going to use BlueJ, which is one of the best softwares, best environments for the students to learn Java programming. Okay, so in the next part I will show you basically how to install this BlueJ in your own computer, and then we will type our first Java program also, and we will talk about the structure of Java program also. So till then, you guys take care of yourself, stay home, stay safe. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask those doubts on the video comment section. Okay, and thank you for listening. Take care of yourself, be well, and as usual, God bless you all. Thank you.